Madeline from Sheen Slings, and this is how to use the Baby Bjorn Harmony Carrier on your front with baby facing in. I'm going to show you firstly how to adjust it and set it up for a newborn, and then how it grows with baby to continue fitting all the different ages and stages through to toddlerhood. So we're going to start by setting this carrier up for you, the wearer, first. And I'm going to start by finding these shoulder straps. And if I know how to adjust the back setting for me, I'm going to do that now. If you don't know, don't worry, I'm going to explain how to do it. But these will slide up and down to adjust for different size and shape backs, and we can adjust this tighter or looser again for different width backs. So I've got that adjusted for me, and I'm going to then pop it over my shoulders so that the straps sit on me and anything loose can come round towards the front. I'm not going to tighten it out now, that's much easier once I've got baby in. But now I'm going to do the waistband. So the waistband, I'm going to follow it round, and there's a rather bizarre little clip here. I'm going to find it and then pull. It can feel quite weird if you haven't done this before. You're literally going to hook it on, and then it'll, as you pull it tight, you'll feel it really slot into place and secure. I'm going to tuck the instruction manual out of the way. On the waistband, I want to make sure this really is nice and snug, and that this lumbar pad sits right in the middle of my lumbar. And if it's not in the middle, I'm going to take some time to sort of loosen one side, tighten the other until it's right in the middle, and that this is nice and snug. I know it will be when it's tight enough, if I push down, it doesn't move. Whereas if I loosen this off, if it's doing that, this is going to give me backache. So I'm going to really take my time to get this nice and snug and nice and centered in the middle of my back. Now I've done this, I am all set up for me. We do have a zipper here, and this makes the carrier a little bit longer for a bigger baby and allows you to wear the waistband a little bit lower. So in terms of where I've put the waistband, for a new baby, I am putting this really high on my true waist. For an older baby, I can wear it a bit lower. I'm also putting it at the part of my body where I feel like I get the most load bearing onto my hips. For most women, that's on their true waist, and then it puts the weight onto their hips. Men, it's often slightly lower. However, for a new baby, even if you would prefer to wear it slightly lower, please wear it up nice and high for right now, so that baby will stay nice and high on your chest. So this bit helps make the carrier a bit smaller for while they're new. Once they're taller and you're finding that this isn't coming up as high, or you can't get the waistband as low as you would like, that's when we let this out, and that gives you a bit of extra length. The next thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to be carrying a newborn, is I'm going to check where these zips are, and I'm going to put it all the way onto the narrow seat. If you've used this carrier before and you've set it, then you don't need to move these, but if you're unsure where it should go, start off narrow, and then we will adjust to get the right width for your baby. So now I am all ready to pick up my baby, and I'm going to start with the newborn sides. So I'm going to just get my baby comfortable on my chest, and then I can take my time to sort of slowly wiggle this past their legs and around their bottom, and then hold them like so. I can take my time to rock and soothe as needed, and then I'm going to start by doing up these clips. I'm going to clip them in, and to do them up, they go past and then back. And then I can start to snug up here, but I'm going to get the other side done up before I get too tight. So again, just taking my time to get them lined up, and then past and back. Sometimes this can feel quite hard if we haven't got the angle right. If we're sort of going from a different angle, we need to get lined up, past, and then they just simply slot into position. And now I'm going to, again, I can start to tighten these up, and you'll notice I'm sort of pulling down and then towards my baby. To tighten, I need to pull towards my baby, but I like to pull down because that gives a better spread on my back. So down and then towards my baby, and now I can get these done up. If your baby's really wiggling, you can do these up first and tighten later. The order doesn't matter in that respect. I would always do these up first, and then you can do these up before tightening if you need to. Whatever makes you feel more secure. So now I've got these nice and tight, you can feel babies really securely held, and then these bits then help support the top, the back and the head. Then in terms of height, you can see on these we've got poppers and we've got 3 height settings. This one is the lowest, which is best for my newborn baby. I've also got a mid and a higher. You can see these are both far too high for my newborn, so I'm putting it all the way down on the lowest popper setting. What I'm looking for in terms of height is that it reaches no higher than mid-ear, that I can see baby's face, and if I can't quite see it, I can gently reposition them, and I can also position their hands if needed to help keep their head back. So no higher than mid-ear, that I can easily see their face without moving anything. I want to be able to support the neck, but no higher than mid-ear. So equally, this would be absolutely fine and still supportive. I would only move up a setting when the neck wasn't supported. And that also depends on the developmental stage of your baby. So for a brand newborn, they obviously need neck support. For a slightly older baby who can support their head while they're awake, you might actually choose to have it lower so that they've got more view, and then put it up a little bit when they get sleepy. And the last thing I'm going to do to adjust them is to check their legs. And I'm going to do that by just sliding my hands and then gently lifting their knees so they settle on their bottom, and see if the material is supporting them to the back of their knees. And if not, I can reach under to those zips, come out as wide as they need for support, and then click the zip back into place, and that locks it back into place. And I can do that on both sides. For my newborn doll, actually, I'm almost on the narrow setting. I don't need very much more at all, but as baby grows, you're going to need to let those zips out further and further and further. So this is with the newborn. And other checks to be sure you're happy with the fit for newborn is just check that it doesn't feel too loose around the back. We have got some play to tighten through these, but that'll give you a little bit if needed. So otherwise, all looking great. Now I have baby in, I can talk to you about this back part. So what I'm wanting here is that this strap sits right at the base of my shoulder blades, just a little bit higher where a bra would sit, so just at this height, and tightened in terms of that distance, tightened so that those 2 straps run parallel and they aren't feeling like they're pulling away or don't feel like they've been overly squeezed in, and so like somebody is drawing the letter H on your back. If you haven't used this carrier before, the best thing you can do is actually get someone to help you. So pop it on and see if they can move it so that it sits, and you'll feel the difference as they change it. So it sits and gives you the most support. I'm sitting straight, so tight enough that they sit straight, not pulling in, not sitting out, and at that height where they're coming up right at the base of your shoulder blades. And then if you are sharing this carrier with somebody else, take time to make some little markers, or find a way to that you can measure the distance. So I had some clients recently, and dad found that he needed the strap 2 fingers from the bottom of the runner, whereas mum needed it 4 fingers from the top of the runner. So something like that, where you can easily remember and adjust at that beginning stage before you put baby in. So let's accelerate on 3 months and pretend my baby has grown. So to get back out, I'm just going to undo these first, then start supporting baby's weight and undo the side ones. So I'm going to pop that down, give myself a little bit more space as I'm going to be putting a bigger baby in here. And let's accelerate on 3 months. Here we go. Flip this up over baby's bottom. Exactly the same. Do it up exactly the same way. And then the only things we need to adjust are the width and the height. So if I get these done up, like so, and gently tease your head. In terms of the width, you can see now baby's legs have grown and they're starting to sink down. So again, I'm going to lift the knees and then bring the zips out to the point where they then support baby through baby's thigh. Now, it doesn't have to be dead perfect. All we're looking for is that it's supporting somewhere between the back of the knee and mid-thigh, so that the knees stay nice and supported in this lovely chair-like pose, as opposed to the knees pointing down. Then in terms of height, actually for this age doll, I have not tightened my carrier, let's tighten up. That's going to feel much better. For this age doll, do you see how it is supporting the back of their neck? And actually at 3 months, they're going to want to look around. So while I could put it up, they're probably not going to enjoy it while they're awake. So this actually will be giving them enough support. It will catch their head if they start to lose control, but it's not restricting them. If, however, I needed a bit more because I was walking fast or they had fallen asleep, then I can come up one level like so. Again, I'm looking for this to come no higher than mid-ear, so this is the highest I would want it. And then if this feels now gapey, I can tighten it up through here. And then finally, let's grow our baby once again. So if I snap back out of here, I'm going to grow my baby one last time to my biggest doll, who's about the size of a 1-year-old. And now we can again do these up. Can be a little harder if you've forgotten to loosen off first, which I did. There we go, but I just about managed to get into it. Don't be afraid to loosen off each time because it can make it a lot easier, particularly while a real baby is wiggling. So if I get these all back into place, again, we can see the main thing we need to adjust is at the legs. So again, we're going to let the zips out, and this will probably go all the way to the end for this doll. Actually, not all the way, but most of the way. In terms of head support, actually this middle height is actually coming up perfect for this doll, but for a taller baby you could obviously pop it up. Actually for this doll I'd say it's actually probably a bit too high down here, and tightening this up if they were sleeping. But what I would probably do for this age and stage baby is while they were awake, I would probably actually go back down to that lowest setting if I wanted to. So I take a second to do that lowest setting, and then they can feel a lot more freer because if they don't need the head support while they're awake, and in fact if they want to, they could even maybe have their arms up and over the front of the carrier with these coming underneath if they prefer while they're awake, so they feel really free and really able to stretch and see everything. And then as they fell asleep, I could then again adjust the height to give them more support as needed. So I hope that has been helpful. If you have any questions about this carrier at all, please pop them in the comments below or get in touch. And as ever, if this has been helpful, please do like and subscribe to the channel. All the best.